Hello, and thank you for contacting Wave Support. I see from your request you're struggling with an unexpected over-refraction for this patient, for this lens. And when I'm looking at the designs, overall your design actually looks pretty good. However, I noticed when you designed it, you chose to average out the corneal astigmatism, and I think that may be creating a bit of a problem with the optics of this lens. So if you look at your topography here, because you have this little ridge down here, when you average out that corneal astigmatism, it's going to skew the shape factor for this meridian here, because it's going to average in this data into that overall meridian, and that way Wave is going to be designing off a topography that's now slightly not really accurate. And then on top of that, you went with the Freeform design to try to maintain nice alignment all 3 and 6 degrees, but this also is a very sophisticated lens that has very complicated optics. And now I've got a very complicated calculation for a cornea that's not the true, actually a representation of the true story of what's going on with this patient. So when you have an episode like that pop up, or results that pop up like that, I usually recommend going back and simplify things a little bit. I would go back and redesign this lens without averaging the corneal astigmatism. And then when you know that you've averaged it or not averaged, you look at that little indicator up there. But do it without averaging astigmatism. And that way, now Wave is looking at that true corneal shape. And then I might even recommend simplifying the design, and instead of using Freeform, go with the G-sym. And that's going to be more of a back surface or bi-toric lens. I think using those two little tips, that'll get you back on track with this. I also noticed that you had to edit out quite a bit of the topography here. If you struggle with overall performance of this lens and need to redesign it, I noticed that if you go back to your topography number 5, with topography number 5, I was actually able to dots edit out a little bit further than this. And if I bring this up for a moment and just kind of review that dots editing, we'll go to photo process. You got the design up here, and you go to dots edit, and you can actually go each meridian out and just kind of clean that up a little bit as you go. And I would just go right through, try to clean up as many of those little areas that are sticking out as you can, just kind of going right around. And if you do that, you can actually go out to about ring number 20, and if you delete the external, then you get a little bit larger area of the cornea to work with. So I would use that as a backup plan if you have to go back and design from scratch. But once again, to summarize, I think you've just got a little more complicated optics because you averaged out this cornea and then use a Freeform design of that. So simplify, go back to do it without averaging, and then maybe even consider going to a G-sym design. And I think that will help your optics get back on track. With that said, I wish you well at this case, and thank you for contacting Wave Support. Have a great day.